Scott Adams is a ex cartoonist. He did the Dilbert cartoons in the comics, in the newspapers and books and calendars and office stuff. I mean, it was one of the hugest things ever. I mean, Dilbert was giant. And then a few years back, he said something to the effect of, I don't want to live around black people. I see enough going on, and I see where the crimes happen and the violence. And if you want to live around black people, you're crazy. I don't want to live around them. And every single thing was taken from him. Everything. All the Dilbert stuff, it was just canceled. He was thoroughly canceled. So he started a podcast, and it's done very well. People, he has some very big fans of his. He's very smart. He's to the point. He follows me on X, so, I can't hate him. And here he is talking about the news, information. This is what you're given as a citizen of Earth when things happen. You are given lies. How often? In every single case. Watch and listen.
When I started talking about politics back in 2016, and I got a little bit of traction, and people started listening to me and reading my blog posts and stuff, that caused a series of events where I got to meet people who knew the real story behind a variety of things. Not the Epstein thing necessarily, but just the real story behind a variety of things. How often was the real story the same as the one that was in the news? And the answer is never. Not once. Every story that is sort of a big story, it certainly has elements that are true. I mean, I believe the president really did take a bullet in the ear, et cetera. So there are parts of it that are definitely true. I do believe that airplanes hit the World Trade Towers. I mean, that part's true. But generally speaking, the interpretation or the real story behind everything is fake. Let me say that again. The real story behind everything, just everything, is fake. So no, you're never going to know about Epstein. You're never going to know about JFK. You'll probably never know about Martin Luther King. You'll probably never know about Bobby Kennedy Sr. You're never going to know for sure about the Warren Report. And I don't think we'll even know for sure if we landed on the moon. So I've now gone full Joe Rogan, which is, I used to think it was obvious we had landed on the moon. I did not question that for 1 second. And when I saw people saying, oh, I'm not so sure, I would say to myself, wow, people who will believe anything. They actually think we didn't really go to the moon. You know what I believe now? Same thing that Joe Rogan believes, I think. I don't like to characterize other people's opinions, but I think I got this one right, that he doesn't know that we didn't go to the moon, and I would agree with that. I don't know that. But if tomorrow I learned that we had not gone to the moon and it was somehow confirmed, would I act surprised? Or would I say, damn it, you can see the signs. I should have known that. It would be the latter. It would be me saying, I should have been more forceful in saying that was probably fake. So let me be really clear. I don't have any evidence that I personally find convincing that it was faked. But everything's in play. Everything from the food pyramid to the vaccinations to everything. It all looks fake to me. It just all looks fake. I don't know if we know why the Ukraine war is happening. I don't know if we really know what was happening in Gaza. I don't think we really know what was the full situation with Iran and its nuclear weapons. I feel like it's all fake. And when we're talking about the news, we're just doing some kind of parlor game where people who don't know anything about anything act like we do, just so we have something to talk about. That's what it feels like. But I want to be clear, while I don't believe the official version of any big story, just none of them, I also don't automatically believe the conspiracy theory. So if I tell you I don't believe, one of the big stories like the moon landing, it doesn't mean that I believe that Stanley Kubrick filmed it. He might have, maybe, but it doesn't mean I automatically believe that.
Very cool. Yeah. And more people are falling into that realm. You have the people that believe everything they read, everything they're told is gospel by the government and what other entities. And then the other people that everything is some convoluted, complicated conspiracy. And unfortunately, the truth of the matter is that we are all in the middle, not knowing anything. At least the people on either side are sure of it. They have that confidence. I know for fuck well we went to the moon. That's that guy. And then there's a guy over here going, I know for fuck well we never went to the moon. And they both have their reasons for believing it, but they're very steadfast. They're positive of it. And then we're the ones just lost in the middle, wandering around going, did it? Did it happen? Does that happen? The World Trade Center, planes? Yeah, but who was in the planes and this? Because there are people that believe every aspect of the official 9/11 story that the government put out. Planes, Saudi terrorists, the passport that was found on the ground for Mohammed Atta after the fireball the size of fucking the Death Star. And then there are the other people that go, no, it wasn't even a plane. Those are holograms. And then the side, they used thermite paint and it came down and both sides are positive of that. And then we just walk around in the middle going, because we don't know. And it's not that we aren't searching for the truth and the answers. We're not, not listening. It's just not being put out there for you. That's not for you. It's for those two guys. Everything the news puts out is for those two guys. The blatant propaganda, that's what the story is. And then the other shit, everything's bullshit, here's why. And the truth is, you're just not being told. You're not being given enough information. You're a computer that has not been given enough information to spit out an answer. We're still collating. Mother's still collating. So it's a sad place to be. That's the sad place to be. Because you just resign yourself to the fact that you're just not going to know. And it's like Scott Adams was just saying, he doesn't have any faith that he'll ever know about the Epstein thing, as most of us. No faith. If the truth is that there were so many powerful people an inch away from getting caught because this list was going to be put out, and it just would never, they would never let us know that. They would never, ever let us know that or see that or be able to react to it, And yeah, that's where we are. Good take on that, though, by Scott. He's a good egg. I hope he does well. I hope his treatment, whatever it is, does well for him, because